What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTubes? That's right. We're trying this one more time. This is Bobby C, aka Catfish. We got Billy Ratliff on with us and Jesse from Hound Dogs. We had some technical difficulties, and I want to see in the chat how you can hear us. I'm going to do my pop out chat on YouTube, but we're fixing to make you guys some money. Everybody does a bracket for the tournament. And I filled mine out. I did a wishful thinking bracket. I don't know. Billy said he didn't do his yet. Um, I'm checking one thing, guys. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We're gonna get this ironed out for you guys, but um, it looks like we're just on Facebook right now. Jesse, what are the people that's been coming into Hound Dogs? What have they said about that Auburn game and our future outlook on the tournament?
People have been surprisingly very positive. Um, I haven't had a whole lot of people that were, of course, everybody's upset that we lost the game and didn't win the SEC tournament, but it wasn't one of those, it wasn't the reactions I expected. A lot of times when you have something big like that, especially in football, man, it just really destroys the fans, and they just can't move past it. But it was almost like everybody griped about it Sunday, then the tournament bracket come out, and they're moved on. They're moved on. They're saying, you know what? I think that win over Kentucky just shadowed it all. Like, everybody was so pleased with the way we played and showed against Kentucky that they moved right on, and they're ready for Colgate. And ready to take this thing all the way, bring that trophy home. So I think also a lot of the fans looked at it and saw, if we had won that game, we're going to be stuck out in California, and that West bracket doesn't look as nice as our South bracket does, and the fans can't get to them, and they're not in our backyard. So everybody's pretty doing pretty good about it. Pretty happy still.
All right, Billy, you got to watch that Auburn game. I don't want to talk about it very much, but you know a lot about basketball. Give me the good, bad, and ugly about that game.
Well, I'll tell you this here, man. It went exactly the way I thought it would win, but I didn't think it would be as bad like that. I didn't think Auburn would come out and shoot that well, man. Auburn, they made 15 three-pointers, man. I don't care who you play or where you play. If you get up that many shots and make 15 three-pointers in a college basketball game, it's tough to lose that game, man. Auburn was on fire, man. They was clicking on all cylinders, man. And the Vols, man, we had a tough time, man. We turned the ball over too many times, man. We didn't play that same intensity that we normally do when we take care of the basketball. And that hurt us a lot with all those turnovers. Now, even though we shot okay, but we just turned the ball over too much to win against a team like Auburn if they're shooting that well.
Well, it looks like we're just on Facebook. I don't know why it's not streaming to YouTube, but we've got a pretty good following. Billy, we just hit 3,000 followers on Facebook, and now we're pushing 3,100. We got one of our regulars, Dustin Graham. Stephen Harris is over there. Stephen said most of my brackets have Duke versus Tennessee. Dustin says I got Duke and Tennessee in the national championship game with Tennessee winning. I think that's what I got, Dustin, in my wishful thinking bracket. Let's go ahead and talk about the bracket. We can break down our side of it. It looks like we're going to be facing Cincinnati. We got Colgate, our first round. But Billy, what do you think about that Cincinnati game? Does Tennessee have anything to worry about?
Well, Cincinnati, they're a good team, man. They play great defense, man. They got a lot of length, and that may kind of hurt us with our guard play. But I think with our guard play, getting to the basket like they normally do, will help us pass up Cincinnati. So hopefully, if we continue to take care of the ball, I don't think we'll have too big of an issue with Cincinnati. Cincinnati like to play defense and try to keep us out the paint, but I don't think they'll be able to do that against us.
Well, Jesse, do you have any? Every year there's a Cinderella, and last year's Cinderella beat us in the second round. Loyola, they went all the way to the Final Four. Do you have anybody that you're looking at that might just be your sleeper Cinderella team this year?
Well, I've got a couple teams. Like I was telling you earlier, I've done 7 brackets, so there's a little things all over the place. But probably one of my best ones. I think you need to watch out for Belmont. Belmont's a really good, solid team, and I think they might make a good run. In my main bracket, I've got them going up to the Sweet 16, not making it outside of that. My one underneath that would be Syracuse. I've got Syracuse upsetting Gonzaga and going to the Elite Eight. So that's probably my two sleepers and 2 Cinderellas. But I don't have anybody outside of a 2 seed going to the Final Four.
Wow. Hey, Billy, you were talking about some of these teams we had to look out for the other day. Who do you think will be do you think there'll be any upsets? And you said you hadn't had a chance to go over the bracket, but do you think there'll be any? We know there's not going to be a 1-16. At least we don't think there will be, but do you think a 15 or a 14 or a 13? What's going to be the lowest seeded or highest, however you want to look at, that's going to come away with an upset? Do you have you had a chance to look at it?
Well, the only one that I've really been looking at is it's a tough one here is the Texas Tech one where they got North Kentucky. I mean, North Kentucky can shoot the ball, man, and if Texas Tech don't slow those guys down, because they like to put up a lot of points, and typically Texas Tech slows everybody down. You got a North Kentucky team that can really shoot the lights out, man. And right now, I mean, looking at it, that is my only upset that I can see right away. But it just depends on if Texas Tech is making those shots.
Yeah. What about the SEC? We have a decent amount of representation from the SEC. Do you see any of our teams get knocked out in the first round? You got number 7, Nevada up against 10th seeded Florida. Does Florida have a chance in that game? Because earlier in the season, Nevada was playing some good basketball.
Yeah, they look good, man. I think Nevada's still going to come out and win that ball game. I think the Gators, they still have, that size issue that I still say they don't have. They're missing those guys in the paint, but they have gotten away with shooting pretty good, and I think it's their luck has ran out in the first round of the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Florida could sneak up and beat them. I mean, they've played some good teams pretty close in the tournament, and during the season they could have beaten LSU in the regular season. They were right there. They had a little slip up. They called I didn't get to see the play, but they're not even calling it a foul, Billy. They're calling it a felony. That's what Crying Ryan, our YouTube follower, calls it. Did you get to see that play? Was it a foul?
Oh, man, that was a foul all day, man. He grabbed his arm and everything, and it was clear as day, man. I mean, I wish they can go back and do a replay on that, because that was they should have been shooting 3 shots to try to at least go into overtime.
Yeah. Well, Jesse, give me your Final Four pick. If you said you've done 7, which Final Four bracket that you filled out are you the most confident on?
Well, I'll tell you, the one I'm probably most confident on would be Duke, Michigan, North Carolina, and Tennessee.
Wow,
you don't have Kentucky making it to the Final Four?
No, there's no way Kentucky gets to North Carolina. I just don't see it. Honestly, to be honest with you, out of the 7 brackets I filled out, I've got North Carolina winning it all in about 5 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Billy, tell me what would be a successful tournament for our Vols. Do we have to make an Elite Eight to consider it a success?
Well, I think we swing. I still think we have a really great chance of making it to the Final Four. I think personally, my Justice, I think we have the easiest bracket to make it through because these other three brackets, I'm telling you, there's so many teams over there that we just don't match up well with. And that's why I'm hoping some of these teams that they have to play beat them and get them out of the way where it's a little bit easier task for us when we get to at least the Elite Eight and Final Four. Because there are some teams over there with UNC, like I told you guys about Houston. Mm-hmm. Houston is going to give this tournament a run for their money, man. I'm telling you, don't too many people will want to see Houston right now. Those guys are clicking on all cylinders, man. They have everybody at every position that can play a lot of basketball, man. They don't come out the game. They don't get tired, and then their bench come in and wear you out. So that's going to be a scary bracket there. That's one thing. Like with Virginia, it just depends. Like Virginia, we should have a easy task with them. Depends on what Virginia team comes to play. Yeah. The Virginia team that likes to stretch it out on defense and slow the ball down where they can't let other teams score a lot of points because that's the way they love it to make sure teams are not scoring 50, 60 points a game. And that's how they win. And it's amazing how that defense shuts down a lot of offenses like that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Jesse, you've got to talk to a lot of fans over the years. You could probably predict pretty closely what they're going to say after a game when you come into work the next day. If we go to the Elite Eight and we lose in the Elite Eight, do you think most of your customers at Hound Dogs will think that'll be a successful season?
I'd have to say that I think if Tennessee doesn't make the Final Four this year, I think people are going to think the season was a bust.
Really?
The only reason I say that is you don't have anything to show for the season. You had a phenomenal season. You're 29-5 right now. You were number one, but you don't have a regular season SEC championship. You don't have an SEC tournament championship. And you've been to the Elite Eight. The school's been there. Yeah. So I feel like most of the fan base, in order for this season to be successful, you need to do something that you've never done. Now, I'll give you, we held number one for 4 or 5 weeks. That's something that's never been done. We've set some records with some win streaks and stuff like that, but that stuff gets forgotten. I really think you got to get a Final Four in order to make this season look like it did something. You don't have to go any further. If Tennessee makes the Final Four, this town is going to love it, and they're going to be happy if that's all we do. Yeah. I just don't know the Elite Eight's enough.
Yeah. Well, I saw an article, I think it was in the Knoxville News Sentinel, maybe earlier this season or maybe before the season, that says Rick Barnes has to get to the Elite Eight. It's amazing how a good season and being number one for nearly a month will change what becomes a successful season. And I think that being number one has just changed what we look at as being a bust or not. And I think, I told everybody when we first became number one, be careful what you wish for, because that's going to put a target on your back. Not only did it put a target on our back, it really ramped up our expectations amongst the fans. And I think our football team not playing so well has probably affected our expectations in basketball, because we're clamoring for something to be proud of and something that we can cheer for and be excited about, and that's basketball right now. And before I let you go, what do you think about the Lady Vols?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, Jesse. What do you think about the Lady Vols?
I don't know. I'm on the fence with them. I think they have the talent and the capability to go somewhere in this tournament, but they've not showed it. They've not showed it at all this year, and honestly, I think they're going to lose that first round. I don't think they're going to be able to pull that game off. I hate to say it, because it's just really sad with the amount of talent that they've got on that team. And I know they're young. I know it's a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, but we've got to do something with that team. We can't let this Lady Vols name just get thrown in the toilet.
Yeah.
That name is too big, and we can't ruin that reputation.
Will Holly Warlick be back next year?
She made the tournament. I think she'll be back next year.
All right.
Yeah, had she not made the tournament, I think she was gone. But because she made the tournament and because she's got another top, it might even be number 1 recruiting class right now, coming in next year, I don't think Phil will pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Maybe if she loses in this first round and it's a bad game, possibly he'll do it. I think he's going to give her another year.
Yeah. And I think she's earned it. She's been with us a long time. I know our fans, we're not used to seeing our Lady Vols play like they've been playing. But before we go, I shared your candy striped warm-up suits on my Facebook page, and it blew up. Everybody loved them things. Tell everybody once again where you're located and a little bit about Hound Dogs.
We're at 9250 Kingston Pike. We're right here in the middle of West Knoxville, right at the corner of Kingston Pike and Cedar Bluff. This store's been here for 21 years, so if you've been around Knoxville, you're probably pretty familiar with where we're at. You can check us out at on Facebook at Hound Dogs of Knoxville or online at hdknoxville.com. I mean, you name it, we got it. We're all things Big Orange. Locally owned. We do everything that we can to make sure we've got what our customers want. And if we don't have it, we try to find it. The striped pants, man, they've been popular. Yeah. I've only got a handful of them left. I'm looking at them right now, and there's not. I wear mine every Saturday.
Well,
they're great.
I hope you got a pair of 6 extra fat, because I want a pair of them. I want me a pair of them to ride around this truck, and I think our relationship is going to be great. We're going to help each other grow, and I appreciate you coming on, Jesse.
I agree. I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Well, Billy, we've got an old name coming back to football. Let's talk a few minutes before we get off of here about Johnny Manziel. Give me your opinion of Johnny Manziel's problems, or, what do you think about Johnny Manziel going back to the AAF? What's his problem?
Oh, man, Johnny, he's a competitor, man. That's just part of being a football player, man. When you come get in that type of spotlight with him, man, he don't know how to tone it down. That's just his issue, man. It's kind of like with Terrell Owens, or he was loudmouthed all the time. With Johnny, he's not as loud as T.O. was. This guy, man, he just wants to play football, man. That's just all it is, man. I think people are misunderstanding the kid, man. He's a good guy, man. I don't think he is meaning to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that. I think it's just when it comes to playing football, he just want to play football and let it be that way. He don't like bringing his personal life in it. I think that's what it is, though. And I think once he gets with the right team, though, it's just going to take the right coach to tame him.
Yeah. And
I have yet to find that since college. College was the last time we had anyone that tamed him besides the one issue he had in college. The last time. And that's what he's missing, man. He's needing some type of guidance, man.
Well, a lot of people say Johnny is his own worst enemy. I think this media thing, that's what's so incredible about media. I think everybody's looking for a good story, and they're also, Billy, looking for a train wreck. And I think they feed that a lot and gets him in a position, the PR thing. I don't like the way the media treats some of these players, even though that just puts a lot more on you as a player when you hit the big time to really watch how you carry yourself and how you act. And so I'm not saying it's all the media and Johnny doesn't have anything to blame, but I think the media put a lot on him. He was going out to the nightclubs and getting in trouble. And I just think it was just feeding on each other. But When you were playing, what was the closest quarterback that you played to that was like Johnny Manziel? There's not too many Johnny Manziels out there, but who was it that you played against that was dynamic like that?
I mean, T. Martin, he was just like that, man. It's just, T was in a totally different era in his time. I mean, before his time, I say, he was one of those quarterbacks that could make plays with his legs, he could make plays with his arms. I mean, T was, I think, still to this day, I still think T was very unappreciated
Absolutely.
when it came to being a good quarterback,
Yeah. I agree with you. I don't think T got as much credit. And I have to say, I'm guilty of that. I remember the 97 season, and I remember going into the 98 season say, okay, this is going to be a huge rebuilding project. We just lost one of the greatest quarterbacks in SEC history, bringing in a new quarterback. I knew our D was going to be good, but I just didn't think that T was going to be able to do what he was able to do. And every game he won me over. Every single game he won me over. And that Syracuse game was a big gut check for him. And I just think that there were several instances. And I know that Sterner fumble there, everybody credits that as the major play. And I agree 100%. But, Billy, I know you know this. It seemed like every game there was always something that could have gone a different way that we wouldn't be talking about a national championship game. We had a missed field goal against Florida. And you just go through the season. That truly was a team of destiny. Don't you think?
I mean, it most definitely was, man. But that was something, Coach Foreman, he always told us, man, there's going to be bad times, there's going to be good times. Hopefully the good time always outweigh the bad things. And, we had a lot of hiccups in that season, but, we all came together as a team and took care of each other when it came to that. Whether the offense was struggling, the defense would step up, or vice versa, man. If the defense was down one game where teams are doing us wrong, the offense always took up. So it was different back then. But we all held each other accountable, man. That's what made us become the team we were. I mean, a team of destiny, and we won that national championship that year, man. It was that type of play we had with family type kids, man. We just had that. We didn't take no for an answer when it came to losing. There's no such thing.
Well, Billy, we're going to be back this year. I don't know we're going to talk about football after the basketball. I hope we got a couple more basketball weeks left in us before we get into football. But like I've told you in private, I really appreciate you joining the show. We're gonna do a lot of great things for the fans, and we're going to be back here on Friday. So have your bracket filled out when we go live Friday. What day is the first day of the tournament? They've got a couple of play-in games. When is that?
Yeah, the play-in games are tonight. That's what I'm waiting for to get mine started. Because, they have a little sneaky team that's playing tonight in Prairie View, man. These guys are, 21-1 the last 22 games they played. And I've got a feeling they're going to win tonight. If they win tonight, that kind of shake up my bracket a little bit. Even though they're playing against the number one team, I think they'll get the number one team a run for their money.
Yeah. All right, Billy. Thanks again. Have your bracket filled out. We're going to do this again Friday. Those of you that are watching us, like and follow us on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. I don't know why we're not simulcasting on YouTube, but I'll have all these glitches worked out for our Friday night live show. Before I go, have they announced a time on our game, Billy? I guess Billy's already taken. Are you there, Billy?
I'm here.
What time is our game Friday?
I think we play is at 2:45 on Friday.
Oh, we'll be going live after the game, so we'll have something to talk about then. All right, for those of you that watched me for a while, y'all know what's coming next. Thanks for tuning in. Go Vols. The Tennessee men's basketball team, we're going to root them on all the way to the Final Four. I promise you that.